Mystical greetings, witches and warlocks, and welcome to another episode of Crystals, Cauldrons, and Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all things witchy, mystical, and magical while also tying in healing, wellness, and personal growth. I am your magical host, Kaylee, and today's episode is all about crystals. Crystals have been used for thousands of years by cultures all over the world. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Chinese, and indigenous people all recognize the unique energy of crystals. They've used them for healing, protection, spiritual connection, and even rituals and talismans. In this episode, we're going to cover not just what crystals are, but how to choose them, how to work with them, and the deeper meanings behind the most common ones. So we'll also share some practical exercises so you can start using crystals in your daily life, whether it's for work, mindfulness, or manifestation. Starting with our moon muse. The moon, once again, is in the sign of Capricorn. It is important to organize your tasks to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Moods can be lower, so we should be aware of that. It is a productive time when the moon is in Capricorn. The moon is also in the phase of the last quarter, so it's the last quarter moon. This is good for reflecting on what is no longer useful in your life and beginning the process of eliminating what prevents you from moving forward. It's a great time to perform rituals for release, forgiveness, and reduction of bad habits. The energy from this phase helps to let go of toxic situations, emotions, and relationships. It's also a good time to evaluate achievements and failures to allow preparation for new beginnings. And it can be a good time to perform protection spells and finalize projects, plus planning for future goals with a clearer vision. Now for our daily enchantment. Today's daily enchantment is a spell to banish personal negativity. So it's a white magic spell designed to banish negativity and renew positive energy in your life. It's ideal for those who feel trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts or overwhelming emotions. So some supplies you might want are a white candle, a glass of water, a handful of sea salt, a sprig of rosemary, a small piece of paper, and a pen. You want to prepare your space or your altar. You should always be in an area that's free from distractions as much as possible. You want to write on the paper everything that negatively affects your life, such as certain emotions, situations, habits. You're going to place the sea salt in the glass of water and stir slowly while visualizing the salt absorbing the negative energies. And then you want to hold the paper in your hands and focus on your intention to release it. Burn the paper in the candle flame, allowing smoke to rise and carry away the negative energies. Please burn safely. Obviously, you can't just hold the paper in your hand while you put it in the candle flame. So if anything, if your white candle is the kind that already comes in a container, like a glass container, you could just stick it in there. If you're using like a candlestick, which is typically what I use, I would just use the flame of the candle to light it on fire, and then I would let it burn. And I have a small cast iron cauldron. It's very small, but it's perfect for ripping paper up, and I put it in there and I let it burn that way. And I always keep water nearby when I'm burning things, just in case. So after that, you want to close your eyes and hold the rosemary and visualize how it's clean and refreshing your energy. And then you want to immerse the rosemary in the glass of water. And then you want to thank the elements or the universe or the deities, however you do it, for their help, and respectfully extinguish the candle. Leave the glass with the water in a safe place for a few hours before disposing of its contents. Another tip is that performing this spell during the waning moon phase can actually enhance the removal of negative energies. Keep your mind clear and positive during the process and try to meditate afterwards. Be careful to avoid filling your mind with doubts or negative thoughts while performing this spell. All right, on to crystals. So let's talk about what crystals are. Crystals are a naturally forming mineral structure. They were created over thousands or millions of years through heat, pressure, and chemical processes inside the earth. The unique arrangement of atoms gives each crystal its shape, color, and energetic vibration. Many spiritual traditions believe that crystals store and amplify energy. For example, some stones are thought to absorb stress or negativity, while others are thought to amplify intention, focus, or spiritual growth. So even if you don't feel energetic vibrations, crystals can still serve as tangible reminders of your intentions and reminding you to pause, breathe, or focus on what matters most in life. So choosing your crystals, when you're selecting a crystal, it's best to just trust your intuition. There are, obviously, if you do spell work, there are spells that call for certain crystals that can help enhance it. So I basically am building a collection of all crystals. Yeah, I keep a list of the ones that I already have, so that way when I'm looking at new ones, I know what I don't have yet, and I can buy them and add them to my collection because I like to have all the options and all the different energies that they have. And also for when I do spell work, then I'll have them if they're part of the spell. But you also might feel drawn to certain crystals because of their color. Maybe pink calls to you, or maybe green calls to you. The shape also can make you drawn to them. Some are tumbled stones, so they're smooth, and sometimes that can feel comforting to people. The natural ones have the points and the clusters, and sometimes that can feel energizing. And then sometimes you just kind of know that a crystal belongs to you. The energy from it just really resonates with you. So crystals, you can be drawn to certain ones. Always trust your intuition. If you're drawn to a certain crystal, definitely get it. I went to another local metaphysical store that we have around here, and I was looking through their crystals and I found a tumbled opalite in the shape of a crescent moon, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, I have to have this. So that one definitely resonated with me. That one called to me. I trusted my intuition on that one, and I got it, and I charged it during the full moon with my moon water, and I use it during all my spells now. So you don't need a large collection to benefit. Honestly, even just having one crystal chosen with intention can be powerful, and you can repeatedly use that in all your spells. You can cleanse it and then you can recharge it. You don't have to have a large collection. Collecting them is just something I enjoy doing. So that's why I do it, but you don't have to. All right, so let's do a little bit of a deep dive into just some common crystals and their uses. So we'll explore some popular ones in a little more detail, what they're used for and how to work with them. In season 2 of the podcast, which will be coming in May, I will be actually introducing a new section. I'm going to be calling it Crystal Corner. And that's where I will be giving out information on a specific crystal during each episode that you can use and how to use it and how to cleanse it, how to charge it, since there are so many out there. So that'll be coming in season 2 in May, so stay tuned for that. All right, so we're going to start with amethyst. So amethyst is purple. It can range from a light lavender to a deep violet. Its properties include spiritual growth, calming properties, and stress relief, enhancing intuition and protection. So some ways you can use amethyst, you can actually place it under your pillow for a restful sleep. That's something new to me that I learned that I would actually consider trying. You can hold it during meditation to deepen your connection and your insight. And then you can keep an amethyst or a piece of amethyst at your desk to help calm stress and anxiety, or if somewhere that you frequently, do things, or maybe even in your car, keep it, in your pocket, in your purse, somewhere that you want to carry it with you or have it with you that you are frequently at to help calm stress and anxiety. So, actually, a little fact about amethyst: ancient Egyptians actually used amethysts in jewelry and amulets to help protect against negative energy. So, you can replicate this, like I said, by carrying a small amethyst, like in a pouch or something, for daily protection, or wearing it as jewelry or something like that, and use it as an amulet to ward off negativity. So amethyst, it soaks up a lot of energy. So some ways you can cleanse your amethyst to remove old energy is actually you can do it in the moonlight, which is typically considered the best and safest way. You just leave it in the under the moonlight overnight. You can even leave it in the windowsill if you don't want to put it outside. It's especially powerful, like always, during the full moon. So this is a perfect way to cleanse it. You can also do smoke cleansing using an incense, sage, or Palo Santo. You can pass the crystal through the smoke a few times and set an intention, such as, I release all the stagnant energy. And you can also do sound cleansing. So you can use a bell, a singing bowl, or even music. Sound vibrations can help shake off old energy. You can cleanse with water, but you have to do it with caution. It can handle like a quick rinse. Only use cool water. Do not soak for long periods of time, and dry it immediately after. You should pat it dry, not intensely rub it. So be very cautious if you do use. I would recommend using one of the other ways to cleanse it instead, and maybe avoid water. It can cause damage. So to charge your amethyst and boost its energy, again, moonlight is typically the favored method. It cleanses and charges at the same time. So that's really a perfect way to do it, especially the full moon. You can use earth energy as well. You can place it in or on soil, or you can bury it in soil just lightly, not deep, for a few hours. Grounds and stabilizes the energy. So with other crystals, like selenite, you can set it on a selenite plate if you have that, or you can actually place it near something like a clear quartz. These actually act like energy amplifiers, and that can also help to charge your crystal. Okay, Gus, tell the viewers the listeners, how you feel. That's how my dog Gus feels. That's awesome. You like amethyst, Gus? Okay. And then also you can use your intentions to charge it. So hold it in your hand, focus on what you want it to do, and imagine it filling with that energy. So those are a few ways that you can recharge it. Doing a combination of those is also great. I prefer to charge my crystals in the moonlight usually. I really resonate with the moon, which is kind of funny because my girlfriend really loves the sun, and I resonate really deeply with the moon. And I really kind of like that about us, that, she's like the sun and I'm the moon. She has like a really cool sun tattoo on her hand. So maybe I should get a moon tattoo. One important thing to note about amethyst: you should avoid having it in the sun for too long because it can fade over time. It will lose the purple and the color to it. So you don't want to have it exposed to the sun for long periods of time. So I wouldn't recommend water for cleansing, and I wouldn't recommend sun for charging for an amethyst crystal. So a simple and easy and effective routine you could do if you don't want to, overthink the process, is just cleanse it with moonlight or smoke, charge it by holding it and setting intentions, and then you're good. But again, if you're cleansing it in the moonlight, you're also charging it in the moonlight, which is great too. So that's amethyst. So moving on, we're going to talk about rose quartz. So rose quartz is like a soft pink. It's often like a translucent. Its properties include love and compassion, emotional healing, self-care, and self-love. Some ways you can use rose quartz would be to place it on your heart chakra during meditation. We are going to dive deep into chakras in the very next episode, so you'll learn more about what the heart chakra is if you don't already know. You can keep it in your bedroom to encourage harmonious relationships. And you can also use it in self-care rituals like bathing or journaling with it nearby. I actually don't know if I have rose quartz. I'd have to look. But if not, I definitely need to get some. So, a little fun fact, rose quartz has actually been called the love stone for centuries. Some traditions actually suggest placing it in your home to invite loving energy into your life. So for cleansing and charging, cleansing your rose quartz to clear of its old energy. Moonlight, again, is the top choice here. You can leave it out overnight or on the windowsill in the moonlight. It's, again, especially effective during the full moon. It helps keep its loving energy calm and balanced. You can also do a smoke cleansing with rose quartz. You can just pass it through an incense, again, or sage or Palo Santo smoke, and set an intention like, I release all energy that no longer serves. You can also do a safe, quick rinse under cool water only. You should not soak it for long periods of times, and you should gently dry it after. Again, I don't recommend that. You do have to be very cautious using water on certain crystals. It can affect them. You could also do sound cleansing with a rose quartz. You can actually place it on selenite and use a bell or one of the singing bowls to cleanse it. Moonlight's still my favorite option. So charging it to fill it with new energy. Again, moonlight cleanses and charges at the same time. You can do the same thing with your intentions. Hold it in your hand or over your heart and focus on what you want, whether it's self-love, healing, attracting love, harmony like in your relationship. And then you want to just imagine it glowing soft and like a soft pink and like a warm sensation. And you can also do the earth energy with a rose quartz. Place it on soil or near plants, and that will help ground and nurture its energy. But just like amethyst, rose quartz can fade in strong sunlight over time, so I wouldn't charge it in the sun for long periods of time. I know some people do prefer to charge crystals in the sun. I've seen my girlfriend charge crystals in the sun, which is totally fine. Obviously, just be aware of what you're doing or what crystal you're using and whether or not sun can cause any damage, just so you don't cause it to fade. There are actually a lot of apps, and obviously you can do research on how to charge and cleanse crystals so that it's safe, so that you don't cause it any damage. A little ritual you could do to cleanse and charge is you could just hold your rose quartz, take a deep breath, and say something like, I cleanse and charge this stone with love, peace, and healing. If you prefer something a little more simple, that would work just fine. So now for the clear quartz, which is a pretty common one in a lot of different spells. So clear quartz is, typically pretty transparent, just like an ice cube that's not actually cold. Its properties include energy and intentions. It'll help amplify those, healing and clarity. And then it's pretty versatile for any ritual or purpose. That's, like I said, it's common. You can use it in pretty much any ritual. So clear quartz is a good one to have if you are trying to do a spell or a ritual and you don't have a specific crystal. You could always substitute using clear quartz if you have that. So I would highly recommend having that one on hand. Some ways you can use it, you can just combine it with other crystals to help amplify the effects of the other crystals. I typically include clear quartz in like all my spells too, even when I'm using other crystals. You can meditate while holding it to help clear your mind. And you can place it on your altar or your sacred spaces to help energize them, which is something I'm kind of redoing my altar a little bit, but I think I'll leave my crystal quartz out for it. So a little fact about clear quartz is it was often carved into tools and amulets by ancient civilizations, and today you can use it to amplify your intentions in a crystal grid. So when it comes to cleansing and charging, so you can actually cleanse clear quartz with water. You can rinse it under cool running water and just imagine all the old energy is washing away from it, and then just pat it dry. So it is safe to do. You can do the moonlight, the smoke cleansing as well. Smoke cleansing and like moonlight are really good if you're trying to cleanse more than one crystal at a time, because then you can just set them all out in the moonlight, or you can use the smoke from multiple crystals, so they can come in handy for that. You can also do the earth cleansing by placing it on the soil or burying it lightly for a few hours, and that helps it to completely reset if you do the earth cleansing. To charge it, so this one, it can handle the sunlight, so you can definitely use sunlight to charge it, unlike some of the other crystals. Clear quartz actually likes the sunlight, so you can use that to do it. You can do it for a few hours and it'll be fine. That's a perfect way to charge it. Again, you can also use the moonlight if that's what you prefer. And then you can do this similar with your intentions by holding it in your hand, clearly thinking or saying what you want it to do. And quartz amplify is like an amplifier, so definitely be specific with your intentions if that's how you're going to cleanse it. Even if you said something like, I program this quartz to amplify protection and positive energy, or I intend for this quartz to amplify whatever. So when I said I program this quartz to amplify protection, programming, so basically what you would do would be hold the quartz, focus on one intention, visualize it filling with light, say your intention out loud or in your head if you prefer, and then you basically turn it into like your energetic assistant. Just keep in mind that even though it does handle the sunlight well, don't leave it out for days just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't leave it in the sun for like days on end, but you can leave it in the sun for a few hours. So if you wanted to do a simple routine for that to cleanse and charge, you could easily just cleanse it with water or smoke and then charge it in the sunlight or with your intentions, and then it'll be good to go. So now we're going to talk about black tourmaline. So black tourmaline is solid black. Sometimes it will have streaks or ridges or grooves in it, unless it's tumbled. Its properties include grounding, protection against negative energy, and detoxifying energy fields. I actually have a tumbled black tourmaline crystal that's on like a little chain, and I have that hanging at my altar. It came in my altar kit that I got on Amazon. So some ways that you can use black tourmaline are to carry it in your pocket to stay grounded during stressful situations. Place it near electronics to reduce the electromagnetic noise. My girlfriend would really like that one. So shout out to her again. That's for you, babe. You can also use it to meditate with and to release some anxiety and tension. So many modern practitioners actually keep a piece of black tourmaline at home or work to maintain a protective energy barrier around themselves. Like I said, I have one hanging at my altar. So when it comes to cleansing and charging for black tourmaline, it's safe to run under cool water. So this one can handle the water. You just should dry it very well afterwards. So tourmaline's favorite way of being cleansed is with the earth, placing it in soil or burying it for a few hours. So that will reset it deeply since it's a grounding stone. You can also do the smoke cleansing and the sound cleansing with it. Sound cleansing can help to break up stuck energy within it. So to charge it, again, Its favorite way of being charged is also with earth energy. So you can just let it sit on the ground or near plants or in like a pot with a plant for a few hours, and it'll recharge by connecting to the earth. Moonlight is another way to do it. It's like a gentle recharge for it. And then again, intention, which is also known to be very effective for black tourmaline. So you would just want to hold it and set a clear purpose, such as protection or absorbing negativity or grounding your energy. So you could just hold it and say something like, "You protect my energy and keep negativity away." It's really important that when you're doing charging using intentions or cleansing using an intention, that you're as focused as you can be on the intention. You don't want to be distracted. You really want to have your mind focused on that. That's a very important part of setting any intention, is just really trying to maintain the focus on that. A couple of tips for it. Black tourmaline absorbs a lot. So you want to cleanse it probably more often than your other crystals. So keep that in mind. If you do use it daily, like carrying it, you should probably cleanse it weekly or even more than that. That's actually something I just learned as well. And since I have mine hanging at my altar, I should probably give it a good cleanse and charge. So I think I will actually just stick it down in the soil of one of my plants, one of my house plants, and let it cleanse itself and charge. So an easy routine for that, like I said, you could just use water or smoke and charge it using the earth or intention, but you can also cleanse it using the earth. So kind of like the full moon, if you stick it in the soil or however you do it with the earth energy, then you're kind of cleansing and charging at the same time. Just a little extra tip too, you can place black tourmaline by your front door as a protection barrier near your bed for calmer energy, or in your pocket as like an on-the-go shield for negativity. So that's black tourmaline. So now we're going to move on to citrine. Citrine is usually like a yellow to a golden orange type of color. Its properties include abundance and prosperity, creativity and joy, and energizing. It's energizing and uplifting. So some ways that people use citrine would be to place it on your workspace to help encourage creativity. You can use it in manifesting rituals and to attract abundance. You can carry it to boost your mood and your motivation. So citrine is actually sometimes called the merchant's stone. It's believed to attract success and wealth. You can place a citrine on a desk or in a wallet as like a modern way of using it. But that is what it's known for. To cleanse it, citrine actually loves the sunlight. So you can definitely place it in the sunlight for a few hours. That'll naturally clear and refresh. It'll like naturally clear and refresh itself. A gentler way of cleansing it, if you prefer like a softer energy and some like emotional balance, is charging it in the moonlight. Smoke cleansing is like a quick and easy way to reset it. Sound cleansing helps keep its energy light and clear. And a little fun fact is many people actually believe that citrine is self-cleansing, so that it doesn't actually hold on to any negative energy like some other stones, like most other stones do. So a lot of people believe that it's actually self-cleansing. So for charging it, again, it really loves the sunlight. Its favorite way of being charged is typically in the sunlight because that's its power source. So it's like a solar powered confidence booster. And again, if you want to do a intention charging, that is also super powerful when it comes to citrine. So you would just want to hold it and focus on what you want, such as money, success, confidence, or motivation. You could say something like, "I attract abundance and opportunities effortlessly." You can keep it simple. You can do the earth cleansing with it as well. You can keep it near plants or in your space while you work, especially if you're doing something creative or you're handling money, because it just will continuously radiate energy into the area. Natural citrine is fine in sunlight, but a lot of citrine that is sold is actually heat treated amethyst. So if that's the case, it can fade if it's left in the sun, like really strong sunlight for too long. So a few hours would be fine, but not a few days. But if you can find natural citrine, which I actually have a natural citrine. If you can find that, then that would be safer for leaving in the sunlight for longer periods of time. So an easy little routine with that would be to just cleanse it with the sunlight or your intention and charge it with the sunlight and your intention. And then you can keep it in your wallet or your purse. Keep it, like I said, at your workspace or your desk or even near your front door because that can help to welcome abundance. So a little ritual you could do would be just like hold your citrine and say, abundance flows to me freely and effortlessly. It's short and simple, but it doesn't have to be complicated because it can be short and simple, but still powerful. So that's citrine. So next one we're going to do is selenite, which I said I had natural citrine. I do not. I have natural selenite. That's what I have. It just clicked in my head once I started talking about it. So selenite is typically white, also translucent. You usually find it in the form of like a slab or like a wand type form. Its properties include cleansing energy, clarity and spiritual connection, and it's also good for purifying other crystals. So some ways that people will use it would be to, again, cleanse their crystal collection. So you could place a selenite wand on your altar during rituals. You could meditate while holding it to enhance intuition and clarity. Selenite is often used in group rituals to create a clear and elevated energy field, but you can do the same in your own sacred space, and you don't have to be in a group, but it is commonly used for that. To cleanse your selenite. So selenite is actually self-cleansing. It naturally clears its own energy and cleanses other crystals. So you usually don't really need to cleanse it at all. If you still feel like you want to, the best match for the energy of selenite would be to cleanse it in the moonlight or to also do a smoke cleansing. To charge selenite, its favorite way and the best way to do it would be to leave it overnight in the moonlight. Or you can also do your intention charging by holding it and gently setting, your intention, whether it's peace, clarity, spiritual connection. It responds very well to calm and focused energy. So just keep that in mind. One very important thing to note is that you need to keep selenite away from water. It's a very soft mineral and it can dissolve or get damaged very easily. So do not rinse it, do not soak it. One thing that makes selenite so special is that, like I said, it does cleanse the other crystals just by being near them, and it clears the energy in a room, like the negative energy. So it's really great for spiritual clarity and calmness. So, like a simple ritual for that would be even just holding your selenite and say, I welcome clarity, peace, and pure energy. Simple but powerful. It is, since it is self-cleansing. So just a few other crystals that I'm not going to go deep into, but are just worth mentioning. One would be labradorite. It's known for protection, transformation, and intuition. Carnelian is known for creativity, courage, and motivation. Moonstone, which is one of my favorite ones, is known for intuition, feminine energy, and cycles. And then there's hematite, which is known for grounding, stability, and focus. Each crystal has multiple uses depending on what your intention and your practice is. And you can, if you have a big crystal collection and you want to have them all with you while you do any kind of spell or ritual, it's not going to cause any harm. It's not going to mess up your spell or ritual. It's just going to amplify it. So feel free to include all your crystals however you want to do it. Whatever resonates with you. I know I say that all the time, but I will always continue to say it because I think that's just an important thing to know. So, some common ways that we've kind of already talked about on how to work with crystals because they can be tools for meditation, manifestation, protection, or even mindfulness, which we just had on our last episode. We talked all about mindfulness. So, if you haven't listened to that, I'd recommend that. So, for meditation, you can hold or place a crystal nearby while focusing on your breath or your intention. It's great for having crystals around for meditation. And to me, it just makes it feel even stronger and almost like also more calming. So a lot of people will wear them in jewelry. They'll wear them rings, necklaces, earrings, etc. Just to keep them close to your body and to have them with you. Altars and sacred spaces, people will arrange crystals to represent different energies on their altars. Grids, so you can create geometric patterns of crystals for intention work. It's called a crystal grid. And then also for daily mindfulness. So you can hold a crystal and you can be mindful about it, like we talked about in our last episode. You can notice the weight of it, feel the texture of it, and notice the energy that it gives off. When it comes to cleansing and charging a variety of crystals, because they absorb energy, it is important to cleanse them regularly. Some crystals, like I said, can be cleansed using running water, others cannot. Same with sunlight. Some can be cleansed in the sunlight, but some cannot handle it. Moonlight is always safe, especially for any of the sensitive stones. Moonlight won't do any damage, so moonlight is always a safe way to go. Same with smoke cleansing, typically wouldn't cause any damage, so that's a safe way to go. And then sound cleansing or intention cleansing. So the only ones you have to be cautious about are water and sunlight because certain crystals are sensitive and cannot handle that and can cause damage. So after cleansing any of your crystals, you always want to set your intention with the crystal now that it's been cleansed and just focus on the goal or the energy that you want it to support. So let's talk a little bit about mindfulness and crystals. So crystals, since we just did an episode on mindfulness, they work beautifully with mindfulness. Even holding a stone for a few minutes can completely ground your attention. If you're having a hard time with something, it can calm your mind and it can connect you to the energy or the intention that you already set for that crystal. So crystals really can work very well with mindfulness. Like an example exercise would be to pick a crystal, hold it in your hand, close your eyes and breathe slowly, noticing its weight and its texture. Let it remind you of your intention or focus for the day. And then you practiced mindfulness and incorporated your crystals into it. So that's just something I thought worth mentioning since we just did an episode on mindfulness. So, crystals are more than decorative stones. They're tools to help us focus, connect, and set intentions. Like I said, you don't need a huge collection. Even if you have just one carefully chosen crystal that called to you for whatever reason, you can use that for grounding. You can use it to protect your energy. You can use it to amplify your intentions, and you can use it to just completely support your spiritual practice. So, crystals, even though they all have their own properties that they are good for enhancing, you can set any intention you want with a crystal that you've cleansed and charged. So just keep that in mind. So trust your intuition, set your intentions, and just let the crystals guide you. So that is a little bit of information about crystals. Obviously, there's tons more crystals out there, but we could not simply sit here and go over every single one of them. But like I said, in season 2, I will be introducing the Crystal Corner section, so you'll start to get a lot more information on crystals, how to use them, how to care for them, and all of that. So thank you for walking this journey with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love to hear from you. Leave your feedback, share your experiences, or ask me any questions. Don't forget to leave a rating too. It helps others discover our magical circle. Make sure to share, follow, and subscribe so you never miss a cauldron conversation. Also, you can now support the podcast on buymeacoffee.com. So to find this podcast, it would be buymeacoffee.com/CCC podcast. I will put that in the show notes as well. And for all the latest updates, don't forget to visit the Crystals, Cauldrons, and Conversations Facebook page, and you can join the Triple C Coven for even more magic. You can check out the show notes for a recap on today's daily enchantment. And come sit around the cauldron with me next week when we dive deep into chakras. I'll be waiting to welcome you to the Coven, and as always, stay magical.